Hello, it's Lisa here from Optimum Health, and today I want to go through a bit of a how-to with you. It's something that I went through with the ladies on the current postnatal restoration and recovery course this week, and there's just a few things that have reminded me how vital it is to a lot of people. So for those of you who have clicked on this video having seen the headline on "This is the tip for your way to a flatter tummy," and you're thinking, oh god, she's prattling on about pelvic floors and postnatal again, just hang on and bear with me, because it is absolutely key to getting you towards a flatter tummy as well. So it's useful for postnatal periods. I really wish I'd known this, particularly after I'd had my second little boy. It's really useful for anybody who is looking to get a flatter tummy, which is a question I get so often. It's also a brilliant tip for those of you in those years in the run-up to the menopause where you're feeling bloated and uncomfortable and just a bit delicate, really. So to take you through this tip, we've got to go somewhere that's a little bit private, somewhere that a camera wouldn't normally take you, but bear with me, okay? So we're going into the loo. So if I just prop the door open, the tip I'm going to talk you through today is how to position yourself on the loo for a bowel movement. Now, why does this make a difference? Well, if we go through those scenarios again, in the postnatal period, everything's feeling so delicate. It's the last thing that you want to think about doing. And typically, when we come to pass a motion, we will kind of slouch onto the toilet, round our backs, and quite often, if it's difficult to pass, we will then strain down in this position. So if I just grab Flo, who's my portable pelvis here, what you can see is that when we slouch down like that, our pelvis tilts back. So that means that the hole at the bottom of your pelvis, okay, isn't actually facing straight down. So when you're slouched like that, you haven't got gravity fully on your side. But also, if I was to pull out Flo's rectum here, you'd see that it's not actually a straight tube down. So if you've actually tilted it like that, you're now also having to force those motions through quite an S-bend, really. So not only is that causing a lot of extra pressure onto your pelvic floor, it might make complete emptying of your bowels more difficult. So this is particularly relevant in the postnatal period, but also in that peri-menopause period where you can get thinning of the skin around the vagina. You've also got increased weakness through the pelvic floor due to hormonal changes. Then anything that alleviates that downward pressure into the pelvis can only be a good thing. So we want to look at how we can get you to sit up that little bit taller. Okay, so what I'm going to use here to show you this is just one of the boys' toddler stools. So if I put it to the side so you can see, pop my feet up on the stool, and you'll see that automatically my knees are now higher than my hips. Now this is actually quite a big stool. You probably don't need one as high as this. And I'll go through some alternatives in a second. But then if you lengthen up your spine and lean forwards, now all of a sudden, what was forcing round a corner can now go straight down and out without too much pressure. So you get less pressure into your pelvic floor. And actually, in this position with your knees up, it's like being towards the bottom of a squat, puts your pelvic floor in a really relaxed position as well. So everything comes out that little bit more easily and with much less straining as well. So if you're thinking, but I haven't got a stool to use, or you're going away somewhere, or you travel a lot with work, don't worry. All you need are 2 toilet rolls, which you pretty much have anywhere you're going to go. So simply put those on the floor, put your feet up, and again, a nice long back and slightly leaning forwards. So if you're still watching this thinking, how the hell is that going to get me a fat tummy? Well, the simple question is, how often are you going? Because if it's only once every 3 or 4 days, then quite frankly you're carrying a lot of crap around with you. And the only way that you're going to start to address any bloatedness or discomfort, or just to get that flatter tummy around here, you need to look at your bowel motions. So that's a matter of looking at kind of hydration, nutrition, your rest and sleep as well, but stuff like this, very, very simple tips that you can put together in that 95% of your week where you're not doing activity to get fitter, are going to make quite big differences. So there's one more thing that you can do as well. So if you aren't going to pass motions every single day, and so that they are a little bit more irregular, and when you come to pass them it's a little bit more difficult, so you have to bear down, think of making a noise as you do it. And the way to remember this is just simply moo when you poo. So a couple of sounds to try. Once you're sitting comfortably, feet elevated, give a good shh. And as you do that, notice whether you get a relaxed or slightly downward pressure into the pelvic floor. Don't worry if you don't. If you don't, try a grrr and see if that works for you. But failing that, there is always the moo. Moo! So if when you make that sound, you get a relaxation through the pelvic floor and slight with down pressure, that can really help you if you do have to bear down, but without putting too much pressure into the abdominal wall and into the pelvis, which is particularly important if you've recently had a baby and have a bit of a weak front line and pelvic floor, but also, you know, at any other stage of womanhood as well, if you've got a little bit of weakness through that pelvic floor. And even if the pelvic floor is all hunky-dory, making sure that you are going to the toilet regularly and using this simple tip will help towards that flatter tummy. So I hope you found that useful. Please give it a go, and I hope it works for you. And don't worry if it gets you some funny stares. But also bear in mind it works for your children too. So having these stairs all around the house, get those little legs supported, makes it much, much easier for them to go to the toilet as well for the same reason. So that can avoid all hosts of problems that you can get with children when it comes to going to the toilet as well. So as I say, I hope that makes sense. If you'd like more tips like this, or coaching that supports you through all aspects of your life, not just in the gym and the kitchen, then please get in touch. You can hop over to the website, which is www.optimum-health.me.uk, or message me via this page. Thanks very much for watching, and see you soon. Bye for now.